Greetings and salutations, my friends. Welcome to a brand new 3-part series. So let me tell you about what's going to happen in these 3 series. The first one, this one, is going to be 10 years into the future. So the idea more of this episode is to look at some of the best Wonderkids that we know and love in the game and just sort of see how they've progressed. I've got a massive shortlist of Wonderkids that start in FM17 that we're going to have a look at. Also, just sort of have a look at who won the World Cup and what English teams are doing well, what English teams are doing bad, same as Spain and Italy and Germany and stuff like that. And just look through a few of who Ballon d'Ors and all that sort of good stuff. But the main reason for this episode is to have a look at those Wonderkids to see how they performed. So I'm going to go through a bunch so you can have a look at them. But also, if there is any Wonderkids in your game that you want to see what they look like in 10 years' time, you can leave it in the comments and I'll post a screenshot. For every single person that sort of suggests a name, I'll post a screenshot. Obviously, I haven't got all the leagues loaded in the world because the idea, this 3-part series is 10 years into the future, 100 years into the future, and 500 years into the future. Now, if I'd loaded up all the leagues, that would have just taken until like FM20. So I'll show you the leagues I've got loaded just so it's nice and easy for you guys to check. I've got it on a large database, so there's a ton of players in here, but I've just got the main big leagues loaded up here to sort of have a look how everybody's getting on. So if you've got a player in your youth academy, not a regen, obviously, but a player in your academy or a youngster that you're thinking of buying and you want to see what he's like in 10 years' time when he's sort of hitting his peak, then let me know in the comments and we'll go through it. Obviously, part 2 of the video is going to be 100 years' time, and that's more to see sort of what's happening in the Football League, you know, what teams are being promoted, just a sort of more fun thing of what's gone on in the world of football. And then finally, the third part is going to be 500 years in the future. I mainly want to see, by that point, are we playing football in space? That's kind of what I wanted to see. But also, it really brings up some weird results, like some tiny sort of conference teams will now become like 10-time Premiership champions and stuff like that. So that's really interesting. Obviously, like, see who wins the World Cups and like, does England ever win the World Cup? 500 years, surely we must have won it once. Right. So let's get straight into it. Let's have a look at the leagues first, and then we'll have a quick look at the leagues. And then what we'll do is we'll sort of go and look at some of these Wonderkids that we talked about. So if we look at the Premier League, 10 years' time, we've got anybody interesting. Leeds are back in the Premiership. Middlesbrough are still there. They've probably done. Wolves, good seeing them. We've got Watford, Tottenham. Yeah, nothing too drastic, which is as expected. If we look at past winners, we can see that Man City won it, then Arsenal won it twice, Man United won it 3 times, Man City won it twice, and Chelsea won it twice. Good old Liverpool. Not even top 3. In 10 years, not even top. Are we in the Premiership? Just wanted to check. Okay, good. Let me just, for my own 7th, 6th, 4th. Okay, we're getting there. We're on a trajectory. It's quite embarrassing. Let's have a look if anybody's jumped into this sort of the Spanish domination. Let's have a look. Atletico, Barcelona. Real Madrid have won it once in 10 years. That is interesting, like the Bundesliga. I thought, Augsburg are top, right? No, that's not a thing. Right, let's have a look. Hey, Wolfsburg! I'm just managing them in my Journeyman save. Go and check them out. If you haven't watched my Journeyman save, go and check it out. It's bloody marvellous. Bayern lots of times, Leverkusen a couple of times, Dortmund once, and Wolfsburg, which is Bayern dropped out of the top 3. The last 2 years, Bayern, what's gone on? 5th and 5th. Roberto Mancini. Okay, that explains it. So the big thing I wanted to look at this episode is obviously have a look at some of the sort of superstar players. So what I've done to make it sort of easier, is click on random buttons, is I've downloaded a sort of Wonderkid shortlist from, I think it's FM Scout. I'll put a link in the description if you want to go and check it out. But this is like a list of all the really good players, youngsters in the game, and we're going to sort of see who's really broken through to become sort of superb. There's a couple of obvious ones at the top, like Renato Sanchez. We knew he was going to be good, playing at Paris Saint-Germain. Wow, Man United bought him for 100 million. They've not learned from Pogba, have they? Clearly. And then he did well. And then 68 million to Paris Saint-Germain. Kai Havertz. I'm not sure I've heard of him. Jesus. Okay, he's quite good. For somebody I'd not really heard of very much. 27 years old. He's decent, but doesn't look amazing. Is there any English talents here? Reece Nelson, he was one of my favourite ones from the FM17 beta, because you could pick him up from Arsenal quite quickly. 46 caps for England, still only 26, he's a youngster, and very good player for Arsenal. Okay, nice to see a decent English player. There's a ton of others here, like really famous ones, like Thiago Maia, who lots of people pick up because he's cheap early on, and he becomes an absolute beast. He's at Bayern. They've £11 million, £45 million. Obviously, it might be different in your save. Like, say, for instance, in my save, Lincoln might have got a broken leg and not developed as much, or not got as much game time. So it's going to be different for everyone. But it gives you a rough idea of what the sort of superstars are. We've got a Danish player here, Kasper Dolberg. £33 million at Wolfsburg. Hooray! They sold him for 19, bought him back, realised their mistake and bought him back. But like I said, I'm not going to go through loads here. Pulisic, we know, is a very, very good player. Where is he? Real Madrid. Okay, so from Dortmund, he went to Fiorentina, then he went to Tottenham, then he went to Bayern, and now he's at Real Madrid. That's quite an impressive CV there, mate. Julian Brand, who hopefully Liverpool are going to sign in real life. Went to Dortmund, went to fucking Man City. Of course we went to fucking Man City. 104 million. Marcus Rashford. Very interesting. See, this one, look, he's not that good. He should be at the peak, and he's not developed that well. That could be because he's not really had enough game time or injury problems. We've got Man United didn't really use him all that much. He went to Tottenham. He didn't really get played. You see, Real Sociedad on loan and then back at Tottenham. He's never really been like first choice, because I've seen him a lot better than that. Yuri Tielemans, another FM17 legend, 29 years old now, so he's just getting past his peak. Been at Real Madrid all his career. Last couple of seasons have been special. But what I'll do is I won't go into too many players, but what I want you to do is any players that you think you want me to look at to see how they got on in this version of the world, leave them in the comments. Make sure you spell it right, because I'm cutting and pasting. And I will sort of go through them. Let's have a look at something like the Ballon d'Or. Who's winning the Ballon d'Or? We've got Messi, Neymar, Kevin De Bruyne, and Gonzalo Valdez for Paris Saint-Germain. Who's he? 25-year-old regen. Okay, fair enough. But Messi just keeps winning it for ages. Ronaldo didn't win it again. I suppose he's getting on a bit now. Did Messi go into management or anything? He normally just... Oh, no, he's a coach. Okay. Let's have a look at the World Cup. The annoying thing in this is England quite often win the World Cup. Mexico are world champions. What is this madness? Belgium and Mexico. Runners-up, Croatia and Spain. Third place, Italy and Russia. Okay. Wasn't expecting those two results. If I said 5 teams that I think might have won the World Cup, then either of those teams would not be in it. Let's have a look at the Champions League. Man United are current holders of the title. We've got Atletico, Man City, Real Madrid. Paris Saint-Germain 3 out of 4 years there. Good spell for them. And Tottenham won it. Wow. Leverkusen and Manchester United, with Paris Saint-Germain again runners-up. So Paris Saint-Germain looking like a decent team. What's that? 5 of the last 10 years they've won it or become runners-up. Yeah, so this is sort of basically episode 1. Just a little sort of fluff piece, really, but it's more about, tell me any players you want me to look at, and I'll post a screenshot in the comments below, and we can sort of have a look at some of the sort of, less... There's some obvious ones, like the Myers and the Julian Brands and stuff. We know who are going to be good. But I'd be really interested, especially if, you're manager of Bromby and you start off the game with a good 18-year-old and you want to have a look at him or something like that, let me know in the comments below. We'll go through it and have a good look and see if we can find some other little gems that might be worth picking up when you start a new game. So next episode is going to be 100 years into the future, and that's going to be more just to see what the world of football looks like and what are some of the weird and wonderful results. Will England ever win the World Cup? Will Liverpool ever fucking win the Premier League? It's just destined never to happen, isn't it? And then also, we're going to do 500 years because that's going to be hilarious, because some of the stuff that goes on and some of the player values and stuff like that are just going to be ridiculous. I want to know if we're playing football on Mars. Are we doing it in space? Is there zero grav football? Do we have video referees? Who knows? 500 years, anything could happen. Right, there we go, guys. Hope you enjoyed that episode. It's going to be a couple of days before the 10 years one comes out, and then a couple of days after that for the 500 years one. So stay tuned for them. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching. Please hit that like button. Check out my other series. Got the Journeyman going. It's been a brilliant, popular series that if you haven't watched it, go check it out. And I'll see you in the next one. Leave your players in the comments below, and I'll give you a screenshot because I've got this save ready to go. So do it now. I'll post them. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.